Hey, come see us in Ashland, Virginia, Athens, Georgia, Rutherford, New Jersey at the Icarus Festival, and Minneapolis, Minnesota. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. So here, Michael, let me play this for you real quick. I did not plan this for today, but I think it's fun since we have Michael here. So this is Alan. I
think Alan came after the guy.
What is this guy's name?
Greenspan.
And I feel sorry for his wife, and here we are.
The United States can pay any debt it has because we can always print money to do that. So there is zero probability of default.
Yeah, okay, so then why don't they just print the money and get rid of the debt? That would have been my next question. I like the look on that guy's face. That's that Alan Goolsberry. He's now a fellow. So here it is. Jared Bernstein, the chair of the Council on Economic Advisors, the main agency
the U.S.
advising...
government can't go bankrupt because we can print our own money.
It obviously begs the question, why exactly are we borrowing in a currency that we print ourselves? I'm waiting for someone to stand up and say, why do we borrow our own currency in the first place?
Like you said, they print the dollar. So why does the government even borrow?
Well, some of this stuff gets... Some of the language that some of the language and concepts are just confusing. I mean, the government definitely prints money, and it definitely lends that money, which is why the government definitely prints money, and then it lends that money by selling bonds. Is that what they do?
Oh my God!
They sell bonds. Yeah, they sell bonds, right? Because they sell bonds, and people buy the bonds and lend them the money. Yeah, so. A lot of times, at least to my ear with MMT, the language and the concepts can be kind of unnecessarily confusing, but there is no question that the government prints money and then it uses that money to, I guess I can't really talk, I don't get it. I don't know what they're talking about, cause it's like, the government clearly prints money, it does it all the time, and it clearly borrows. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this debt and deficit conversation. So I don't think there's anything confusing there.
Wait. Okay, wait. Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Didn't it sound literally like he had an earpiece? Because he catches himself and he goes, yeah, that sounds about right to my ear. This is like a puppet.
Oh, I didn't think an earpiece. What I said when we showed it the first time was that it's like in a comedy movie where Dana Carvey has to pretend to be an archaeologist for a presentation and he has to just go fake it and he just says gibberish, It looked like that, how Kamala Harris gives a speech. But I didn't think of an earpiece.
Kurt, this was textbook Mel Brooks.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
that wasn't Jim Carrey. That was Mel Brooks.
The guy should have crossed his eyes.
So
holy crap.
So I still, again, I'm a comedian. I don't, math and economics were my worst subjects. But
it puts you in debt. It's a way to enslave you.
I still don't understand if the United States government prints its own money, why do we have to borrow? And tell Michael, do you know how it works? So the Fed, which I've had people tell me it's a private thing, and I've also people tell me it's not. But if it's not private, then why are we borrowing money from our own? How could the government borrow money from itself? So what happens is let's say we want to send $15 billion to Israel. Now, the government doesn't go out and tax people for that. The government just tells the Fed to print it. The Fed prints it, gives it to the government, but then the government then issues bonds to pay for that money that they just borrowed. So why do we have a debt if they already have the bond? You know what I mean?
Yeah, because at a certain point, if they print too much money, the value of the dollar decreases. And at a certain point, it gets really catastrophic because we're very lucky because the US dollar is held in high demand around the world, right?
And that's going away.
If we were in another country and it's like they're not that comfortable about being able to kind of finance that debt, very quickly that fewer people are going to want to borrow and lend you money to have those dollars in their pocket. And then things go south very, very quickly. This claim that Greenspan made that we can't go bankrupt is absolutely terrifying and insane because this is what every country that went bankrupt, Iceland went bankrupt not that long ago, thinks. They're like, you know what? We've been around forever. We're going to be around forever. And it's just like, how many nations have collapsed because they just thought I could just run the printer all the time, pay off everybody, and we're going to be all living in Candyland. It's just absolutely disturbing and crazy. And he should know this. He should be able to explain this to a kindergartner.
Yes, he obviously can't. By the way, he doesn't have a degree in economics. He has a degree in art or something like that. Did you know that?
No.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
I mean, they didn't even give him. I hope he had an earpiece because that's crazy to send him out there with no
How
earpiece.
is he the chair?
Well, because the whole thing's a sham, is my guess.
Yeah, but if you have the sham, get someone with a credential from some big shot agency, Harvard or who knows.
Okay, so my casting agent is also DEI, so they also were not competent. And all the way down the pyramid, it's the same thing. We kept hiring not competent inbred scions of wealth.
But Kurt, at the very least, get a slick talker. Someone who could talk out of both sides of their mouth to make you have
we
the
don't really like
appearance.
men right now. We want to get like, there's a lot of hardships now finding that kind of person that has any kind of charm. What about a Hannah Gadsby? You find him charming?
He got his education. He got his education at the Manhattan School of Music.
Nice.
And then he went on to Hunter College. He got an MSW. I don't know what that is.
What is that?
And then he got a DSW from Columbia University.
What's that?
I don't.
Social work.
Nuh-uh.
DSW's degree in social, doctor in social work. I bet you.
Okay,
So he got a master's in social work and then a doctor's in social work. He got a BM, which is a bowel movement, and then he got a master's in social work so he's not. They say he's an economist, but he doesn't have a degree in it.
So
not that matters, I guess. Obviously, it doesn't matter.
It does not matter.
Well, hold
Anyone
on.
can do this.
We wouldn't care if he had a degree if he knew what he was talking about, right? If the guy had a clear, coherent vision and could articulate basic economic concepts, we wouldn't be Googling where his background was.
That's right.
We'd be like, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about.
Well, how the hell did they manage to find the one guy named Bernstein that don't know shit about money?
Come on, that sounds
Malice gets it.
That is an anti-Semitic trope, and I reject.
No, Jimmy, I'm Jewish. That's
a fair
philo-Semitic.
question.
I reject.
That's a pro-Jewish comment.
Oh, that's
It's
pro.
like if I got David Lee Roth to be my personal finance. I'm like, why would you go to him?
If Kurt is saying that all my people are educated about economics, that's hardly an insult.
Well, I'm sorry, but that's still going to be called anti-Semitic, and I reject and denounce that. And so I want to make sure my channel stays monetized. And
I'll put it. Okay, guys. Jimmy's good people. Don't demonetize him.
Hey, Mike, call Rumblestein and ask if it's cool.
So the Fed prints the money.
Yeah.
It gives it to the government. The government then, to pay for that money, sells bonds to other countries, and other countries buy our treasury bonds.
But it's not other countries. It's also Americans and investors.
Right. But mostly China, by the way, just dumped a lot of their treasury bonds. So it's, but anyway.
But this is, let me just interrupt because this is what I'm talking about before. At a certain point, when everyone stops dumping your bonds thinking this isn't going to hold its value, that's when things collapse very quickly. So even if Greenspan might be in some very obscure technical sense saying we can't go bankrupt, that doesn't mean that our currency can't collapse in value quite easily. Not easily. It's going to take a lot, but it would happen quickly, let me say.
And so the United States government per se doesn't print their own money. It's the Fed, which is a private thing.
Here's the thing. This Fed is this kind of weird Schrodinger's cat organization, which is kind of like, if it's a private organization, why is the head of the Fed have to go through the Senate and get confirmed by the president?
That's right.
Right? But at the same time, they basically are above the law and can do whatever the hell they want. And they're not accountable. President Trump, when he was running for office, promised, I'm going to audit the Fed the first year I'm in. And then he puts his hand in the Bible and just looks the other way. So what they do is very shadowy and very insular and corrupt. And there's very little appetite in Washington to, kind of opening the curtains and seeing what's going on behind closed doors. And that's never a good thing. When you have both parties agreeing, let's keep this shit under wraps, it's the average person who's the one getting hurt. Guaranteed.
That's how we got the Fed, though. A secret meeting on Jekyll Island. What could be sinister about
exactly
that?
Correct. He's exactly correct.
Oh, is that what that book is about, Jekyll Island?
That's how we got the Fed. A bunch of bankers got together behind everybody's back, JP, all the greats and Rockefeller, and they go, It's just how they wrote out the plan for Iraq before we did Iraq.
Yeah.
It's like the Bilderberg of its time. And they said, no, there was
It's much
never a
worse,
meeting.
Kurt.
Oh, no, I know. Oh, I know. But
Yeah.
But that they came up with it because so basically nobody could find out that the people who came up with the plan to rein in the banks were all the worst guys from all the banks. Okay? And that's where all that Titanic conspiracy thing comes from because all the people against doing that were on that ship.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Astor and Guggenheim and
oh, no
Strauss.
kidding.
Okay? So that's how that developed that story because it just so happens those guys were on the Titanic who were like, don't do this.
Okay. All right. Well, Michael Malice, we appreciate you coming on the show today. We have to move on.
I put all my money in Logan Paul Hatchimals.
Okay.
They're the NFT that you make.
Remember,
you digitally
thanks.
count chickens before they're hatched. It's brilliant.
Thanks for stepping on my outro, Kurt. Love you both. I'll talk to you soon. Take care, guys.
Okay, bye, buddy. Hey, we're doing stand-up in Ashland, Virginia, Athens, Georgia, Rutherford, New Jersey, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Ontario, California, Irvine, California, Las Vegas, Davenport, Iowa, Chicago, Grand Rapids. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets, and make sure you go to jimmydore.com and don't go to a second reseller. Not good.